Hello everyone. Today we'll be checking out the new The Fire Rises changes. So first of all, I have already got a brief, read through them, and major combat overhaul is not a major combat overhaul, straight up. So, blah 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 blah. Two new economic actions were added. So basically you can just spam this stuff, alright, and this is great. Combat Grisha effect, literally everyone knows this. Multiple buffs for different battalions, it shows here, I'll touch on this in a second. All marine units can extract any coastline province without needing the port. How many of you are willing to bet that they saw my Murmansk landing and thought, damn, he couldn't exfiltrate from there, so we gotta do that now. I doubt it was really that, but still. Support companies do not extend the combat wave anymore. Combat wave from research extension from research doctrines was also removed. So, as I understand now, you can no longer make your units bigger from like air right left. If you go like air right, there's a specific doctrine you can use to increase the combat wave of SPAA. As all of you know, there is also in NATO doctrine, if you go left on the first one, there is also a combat wave extension. So yeah, I guess it's great for something. I'm fighting as combat significant. You are forced to operate in one day anymore. This is a straight up nerf to France here, because now you cannot really kill them that fast, but also it's not even a problem. The combat was already slow enough. It was more of, casted stuff, because, you can just make harvesters. But I guess that's a general problem. Used to be inferior, now have a use now. I don't know which models are those. With our plane doesn't. Okay. Number frames got more. I mean, combined with this, it's probably a good thing. Previous mode from 2024 to 2028 was greatly reduced. Attack helicopters will stats will improve. Realistic reserves. Attack helicopters can perform naval strikes now. This is actually good because, they're like helicopters are extremely neutrally useless in the Fire Rises. I mean, only for you need to make them only as carrier stuff if you cannot afford making proper stuff. So, for instance, Italy has one carrier. It should do helicopters on them because it cannot afford normal planes. So yeah, a significant cost reduction for drone launch sites and static anti-air. Static anti-air were improved. So basically even more nerfs to strategic bombing, because now it hopefully should become an unviable strategy, they thought, but no. I mean, in a proper, now strategic bombing can only be used against Japan, I think. So yeah, by that they just made it unviable for any multiple alliance countries such as NATO and PDTO to be doing that. Yeah, drone launch sites. Throwing munitions deal less damage but also cost much less. Unless they cost like 1 or IC or something, no one will be using them. Land units. SPG's damage and hardness was reduced. Even with the changes, it stands as a good hard attack dealer with repairs. No. SPGs are used specifically for light attack and for miners who cannot properly afford to research a ton of tank technologies or don't have much XP. So SPG, they do like those SPG heavy divisions to have proper pusher divisions. It is especially viable as South Korea, for instance, if you ever want to play as it, because North Korea only mostly has those shitter infantry divisions, so you can just easily push with the SPG. Multiple launch MLRS received a huge soft attack increase and an ability to deal damage to state buildings, with combat width being changed from T2, and a huge fort attack buff and should be much more. This is a perfect buff actually. Like honestly, this is perfect. Because it got now this ability, I think it can actually be viable in some builds. Like I think France could do them in their pusher divisions, or actually miners, yeah. Like if you play as, say, Poland, you can do pusher divisions with a lot of MLRS and just annihilate, for instance, Kaliningrad. Russia can do them, well, pretty much everyone can, just to push through. But this also means that building forts can also be kinda useless, so yeah. And from the best balance change we go to the worst, because this literally does nothing. Like, SPAA will not be used more or less from this. Like, it was literally so useless. I don't know why they did this. APCs play a significant role now. Playing good soft attack, breakthrough, recovery rate, and speed. Combined, it stands as a great unit for quick pushes in with encirclements, floating breakthrough, or even participating in military missions around the world. What? Really now? Like, APCs, as I saw them, they had less soft attack in return for like 1 or 2 more hard attack. So they just say, oh, they play a much more significant role. Do they really? And why do they even have a lot of hard attack when, you know, usually an APC is just, say, striker or BTR. They don't have, like, you know, lots of anti-tank capabilities. So, I guess, Piso South, even with changes, FEVs excel holding your front lines. Why would you do that? I mean, if you really want us to use APCs in, you know, in pusher divisions, then buff them. I don't know. This is like, it should be a buff, but they don't say it's a buff. They just say, oh, now they're much more important. They haven't noticed or noted that they are doing a buff. Recon tanks received a massive organization compared to Titan users, and the plane complete with increased speed and lowered cost. New changes make them very viable tanks that have to carefully balance out with Japan's or countries of Europe. The main issue with Recon tanks isn't like the cost. I mean, it is kind of the cost or organization. The big issue with them is that to get the same stats as a main battle tank, you need to invest a ton more IC. So say like for 40 IC, your main battle tank can have like 100 breakthrough, while I was testing, the Recon tanks need like 20 or even 30 IC to get the same stats. The issue is that if they're supposed to be worse, just worse normal tanks, then that unit will obviously not work. If you say they were like 10 IC and they got the same stats, I mean at least the same breakthrough as a normal, like, you know, tank, then they would be actually viable. Because you upgrade your like armor, soft and hard attack for more breakthrough and speed or something like that. But yeah, if you really want a use for them, I'd suggest making, like, for instance, like normal main battle tanks are just a jack of all trades. So, you know, light tanks should not be just weaker jack of all trades. They should like excel, for instance, at speed maneuvering, at destroying. Like they may have a ton of hard attack but 0 soft attack, meaning you'd really struggle against normal divisions or something like that, or reverse. Like this is what I just can think of. Yeah, have much more organization tank, I mean another buff to tanks. Okay, so now tank divisions have much more organization now. I mean, it just makes them generally stronger, though I'll admit that APCs would look much more interesting. Like APCs along with light tanks may be good, but I still think IFV and usual MBTs are better. Exoskeletons have reduced prices and increased stats. Okay, nobody will still be using them anyways, because how late they're locked into the game. Motorized infantry defense, blah blah blah. Now it stands as a decent mobile defense unit for its price. I guess it's just for like American Civil War stuff. Armed Attack Battalion has become a fully self-sufficient unit with great stats and bonuses for their role. I mean, it was great already, because, you know, like if you just do a pure shitter Armed Attack Battalion, they can get like plus 90 or plus 80 amphibious landing attack. This is broken. Not really broken, because their stats would just be bad. I guess it's a buff. I mean, sure. Amphibious tanks were improved in multiple ways, compared with 43, organization to the same issue again. As I outlined, the Recon tanks, by the way, amphibious tanks, you make them only out of Recon tanks. The amphibious tanks, well, sure, they may be special forces, which would be great. The general issue with them is that they do not provide enough stats for their cost. Again, like soft attack, hard attack, breakthrough, and so on. But I guess it's a little bit better with amphibious tanks, since you use them for, you know, just buffs for general stuff. Certain durability of mechanized equipment and tanks was lowered. Reliability, as you know, just does not matter that much in the grand scheme of things. And combined with MBTs having a lot more organization, as they say, it's like a really light nerf. If PC was reduced, their piercing was improved. Why would you do that? I guess. Okay. I really don't see the point of that, but okay. Attack armor was slightly improved. It's not the armor, it's a breakthrough. Supply usage, blah blah blah, was increased. The doctrine mastery gain is increased, especially in division ship air wing training. That's good. Integrated fire fixes. They salute you, sure. Combat TLDR. 2 with units tend to be damaged dealers that work great with other units in template. 3 sufficient units high enough work to fulfill their role. 4 with mechanism metal battle shine. No. I don't even know, like 2 with damage used or units in the template. I mean the general like the general way you play, say Russia, is depending on the path that you either make a ton of IFV divisions, and as you saw in the previous Grisha game, he also actually used light tanks, which is okay. But if you play as LDPR, you can just make 42 meta pushers, which should be good. With main battle tanks getting more organization, and IFVs being usually used to provide said organization, I can see that maybe people will insert some other stuff in their tank divisions, like MLRS I can see being really used right now because of the damage to infrastructure. This would be especially great as NATO because, you know, Russia is big, and if you're planning to win, which you should, this means you would damage a lot of their stuff without even strat bombing. So it should be good. Same goes for Russia, but the issue with that is that if China should also use them in their invasion of Taiwan, because they can just ground Taiwan into the ground. So overall, what do I think? This is not really a major combat overhaul, it's just like some minor tweaks. And I think it's actually quite good. Except for light tanks attempting to get buffed, because they're, again, I explained what their issue is. So yeah, by the way, thank you for watching, guys. The soundtrack playing in the background is Ballatra soundtrack. I'll include it in the description for those who wonder, by that guy from Fiverr. But so yeah, thank you for watching. Tell me if you want more videos where I discuss meta, maybe show templates, and maybe I show you how you actually play as, say, France without landing in Murmansk. So yeah, thank you for watching, and goodbye.